welcome to the Awesome Ocean Life Beaded Animal Pal tutorial by the Wicomico County Libraries. My name is Miss Vicky, and I'm here to show you step-by-step how to do all three of the animals in the Awesome Ocean Life Beaded Animal Pal bag. If you got a bag from your take and make, you should have one that looks a little bit like this. There will be paper instructions included, so you can follow along with that as well. Each kit should have a variety of different colored beads, a length of cord, which you can cut to whichever length you need, and there should be 2 keychain attachments, little keychain metal, here we are, in there as well. When I start, we'll zoom in so you'll be able to see a little better. So if you need one, we are not letting, at this point, you choose which kit you get. It's going to be whatever we have. You'll get one of the 3. There's Ocean Life, Wriggling Reptiles, and Marvelous Mammals. On YouTube, our channel will also have those videos up as well. So if you got one of the other 2, you can go ahead and find a different video. I'm going to include a timestamp on the video description down below. That's going to show you where to find each individual animal. So if you pick a certain one, you can just skip right to the tutorial. You don't have to watch the entire thing to find one animal. So the ones that are included in the kit for Awesome Ocean Life is an octopus. It's Ollie the octopus. It's got 8 legs. We'll have the shark, and he's going to even have little fins, and those are a little tricky, so make sure you watch the video. It's good. Shark, and then we'll also have Shell the sea turtle. And while I do these beaded animal buddies, I'm going to also be talking about some fun facts that I found about the various animals, because it's not super exciting to watch me just string beads for half an hour. So we'll go over some information, so you might even learn something today, whether you like it or not. So let's get started. So welcome back to the shark, and we're going to be making Sherman the shark now. In your kit, you should have gotten a variety of sea-colored beads, ocean-themed beads. We've got some seafoam green, we've got some clear blue, solid blue, white, pearlescent white, and gray. So some sharks are gray, some sharks are gray and white, some sharks are blue and white. So that's up to you. You can make them whatever pattern you like. I dig patterns. I like patterns a lot. So I tend to do patterns. Of course, you can do whatever you'd like on yours. So let's get started. And to start, just like every other animal, we need to see how much cordage we need. And the pattern says Sherman the shark needs, let's see if I can get up there. Sherman the shark, and where is he? There he is. Needs 3 yards of cord, and he's not focusing, but 3 yards of cord is what we need. So we'll get out our trusty yardstick. If you have a ruler at home, that is 9 feet, because it's whatever yards times 3, that's how that works. So I'm just going to get some extra cord we had, because I don't want to use the black cord that's in the kit, because I want someone else to be able to use that. So we have 1, and I just run it along there, 2, 3. Now most of these patterns I found tend to give you a little bit more cordage than you actually need. So if you are running low, and say you only have 2.5 yards, or like 8 feet, you're usually going to be fine. So the next thing we do, after we measure out our 3 yards of cord, is make a whole lot of noise. Sorry about that. We're going to find, in the kit, you'll also have gotten, where'd it go? Did I put it in the bowl? Ah, there it is. I know it was in there somewhere. A little keychain hook, like that, right? So put that down, gather your cord, and fold it in half. You want to make the ends meet halfway. So you want to take your 2 ends, line them up nicely like that, and then pull it all the way through until you have a loop at the end. This should be just an open loop, like so. You're going to try to pick up the thing off the table, run it through your thing, your keychain, and now you're stuck with a loop on one side and then your rest of it here. I like to put my fingers through here, open it up, pinch the cord and draw it through, being careful not to pull on one side or the other. If you make it uneven, it could throw off your measuring. However, again, like I said, there's usually enough extra that it's fine. So to keep some tension, you have a couple options. You can either tie a string or a hair tie or something around a doorknob, hang it from a doorknob. I'm kind of fresh out of doorknobs here at the library, so I am actually taping a piece of the cord to the table. I'm actually taping a piece of cord to the table that is going to provide me with some tension, because you'll need some place to anchor your keychain. This just happens to work best for me in my situation with the filming, and I'm actually going to pull it up a little higher, so there we go, because the shark's a little on the longer side. So let's get started. The first thing I like to do is figure out what kind of color scheme I'm going to go with. So I'm going to do blues and pearls. I think we have a pearlescent white here that's really pretty, and most of your kits should have some of these, if not a lot of them, at least some. I think they're really pretty for Ocean Lake because they're shiny. I'm all about the sparkles and the shiny. The reptile kit has some sparkly green, and I love those. Those are my favorite. Oh, and it also says you're going to need 107 beads altogether. I tend not to count it out ahead of time because when I'm done, I'm done. So right now I'm just going to go through here, and I'm going to pull out my white beads and try to put them off to the side so that you're not going to end up with the cord flopping around. Sometimes you tend to roll them off. I also like to do this on the floor if possible, because your beads don't fall as far, and if they don't fall as far, they can't bounce as far, and then you don't have to chase them as far. So it is up to you. You can do it at a table just like I'm doing if you like. All right, let's get some blue going. We'll need some blue, and I have two different in this one. In this particular kit, because each one's slightly different, just depending on supplies. We have some clear blue, and we have some more solid color blue. So it'll be interesting texture for the top of them. Some of your kits are only going to have clear, some of your kits are going to have more solid. It's just really up to what you have and up to chance. Like I said, I'm just doing this to start because it makes it easier later on. You don't have to do this. You can totally... Again, the bowl. Put it in a bowl, because that'll save you so much heartache and crawling around the floor chasing your beads. While I am doing the most boring part of like just stringing it across, I'm going to talk about some fun facts about sharks that you may or may not have known. So let's get started. To start, we're going to take one side, just one string, and we're going to string up 2 beads, because that's what the pattern says to do, is to start with 2 beads. And if you follow along with your pattern at home, you will see that that is the first row. You're going to string it up like that. And then we're going to take the other one, the other string that's not attached to beads, and take the end. And these first few rows get a little difficult because the string is so gosh darn long. So you're going to run it through the opposite direction. Oh, I just ran it through, literally just ran it through the knot at the top. Don't do that. What are the chances? I couldn't do that if I tried. There we go. So once you've got it going through opposite, you're basically going like this through the beads with the string. Snug it tight. Try to make sure that your string is nice and flat when you're... so I kind of like just wiggle it around in the beads until it flattens out, because you want to make sure it's nice and flat, and then make sure it kind of sits in the middle so it sits straight down. That's why it's nice to have tension, because you can make sure you pull it straight down. You don't do quite as much work. Okay, so we started with that. That's row 1 done. The next row is 3 beads, and I'm just going to do his nose completely white. And then kind of, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll go into like a triangle shape and kind of fan out into blue on the sides. That'll be fun. So next row is 3. This one has a spot for eyes, but everyone knows the shark's eyes are on the side of their head unless they're a hammerhead and they're on those little stalks. So I'm just going to do straight across and maybe put the eyes a little farther out. I think I'll do this on the outside instead of where they say the pattern. Again, up to you, but in an effort to be scientifically accurate, I want to make them in a different spot because that's just not where they are in real life. Okay. So some fun facts about sharks while I string up some beads. Did you know that sharks do not have any bones? Their bodies are made out of cartilage. And cartilage is kind of like that rubbery, bendy bone that we have in our ear or in our nose. So it's not quite bone. It's cartilage. It's made of a different material and it's harder to break. So sharks are pretty sturdy. They don't tend to break bones. Most sharks have really good eyesight. But they also use electroreceptor cells on the sides of their faces. Like they run basically right along the side. Like say this is your shark. Ooh, you swim in the ocean, right? Right along here on these sidelines, there's little electroreceptor cells. And what that does is it detects the random electric impulses that most creatures in the ocean produce. So if I'm a fish swimming along, without realizing it, my muscles are producing an electrical impulse. And the shark who is looking to eat me is listening for those with their electroreceptor cells that everyone has. And a shark's skin, if you ever get a chance to pet a shark, which to me sounds terrifying, but I'm sure it is pretty darn cool, their skin feels a lot like sandpaper, actually, because they have these minuscule, like microscopic almost, hooks on their skin, and that's kind of how they protect themselves and how they keep their skin, which is kind of cool. Sharks, as well as the other animals in this kit, are all in the have been around for a very, very long time club. Sharks have been around for so long that they were swimming around when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. In fact, the oldest fossil is millions of years old. When scientists are tracking and studying and doing medical stuff to test and see how sharks function, because again, they are super old and really fascinating, one thing they can do to incapacitate or make the shark not fight back without hurting the shark is flip them upside down. When you flip a shark upside down, they go into a trance-like state, which means they kind of like, they're not really napping, they kind of know what's going on, but they also can't move. So that's kind of a really cool thing that they figured out about sharks. Let's do a 6. And we'll do it this way. We'll do 4 white and 2 blue. We'll start the pattern here. Oh, again, make it up as you go, man. There is no right way. There is no wrong way to do this. So you actually can tell how old a shark is by counting the rings in their vertebra, or their backbones. So backbones of sharks, you can count them just like you count a tree ring, the rings of a tree trunk. To see how old a tree is, you can see how old a shark is by counting the rings on their vertebra, which is the bones they're running up and down their back. I thought that was kind of cool too. So there's a shark called a blue shark. I think that's kind of what I'm going for today. Who is one of the few sharks that are actually blue colored, like super vibrant blue. And they do this, of course, as a camouflage technique. Sharks are predators. They do have some predators that, you know, try to eat them in the wild, but for the most part, sharks are what they call apex predators, which means nothing else really hunts them. They kind of are the ones doing the hunting. So they are blue on top, because if a fish is swimming above them and they look down, all they see is blue. The blue at the bottom of the ocean, the bed of the wherever they are. A lot of times they're in shallower water and it looks blue. So and they're white on the bottom because when they're looking up, the sunlight comes in as white. So it's a good camouflage technique so they can sneak up on their food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I always have to count. It's really important. Want to make sure you count the beads that you're supposed to be using, how many in each row before you start, because otherwise you have to pull it out and start again. So, continuing with my pattern, I'm doing 2 white beads on the outside. I should have probably done gray instead of white, but you know, here we are. It's gonna be a white shark. And there are some white sharks out there. They're usually like a gray or tan. So each shark, speaking of patterns, has spots or a pattern, and they are as unique as a fingerprint. So you can, scientists, when they run across, they usually tag the sharks with electro receivers, so like they'll beacon so they can find them and track them electronically. But if they came across one in the wild, they could actually, just like with whales and their tails, I hate a rhyme, they can actually see what shark it is by the pattern of their spots or their stripes or whatever they have. Usually they're spots. All right, we are moving on to the fins. So this next row is going to actually have the fin included. Figure out which color you want the fin. If you want it to be the same color, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't make a difference, but if you're trying to make into the pattern and make it a different color, you'll need to pay attention. So if you look at the pattern, you can get it to focus. Okay, here's your shark. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the row, and then you have one that's looped in. So what we need to do is actually put that on the cord in the right spot. So what we'll do is we've decided we're going to do one row, one of the white on the outside, and then we're going to do 3 blue. Let me double check and make sure that's what I want to do. Actually, maybe the better way to do this. There may be a better way. Okay. So let's string on our regular beads. Okay. Let's see how this works. So then, hold off on your, this is my single fin bead for this one. So string it through until it shows you where to pull it out, which is this middle bead. Right? So run it through here. And then, let's take this one fin bead, line that up, and then we're going to go back through this here, and then finish off the row. So now we've got our fin. Ah, I just caught that in there. Let's get this flattened out. And then we're going to run it through the rest of the way so we can finish off this row. And then we'll do some finagling to get it so it lies flat and flush, and that's okay. Here we go. So that is one fin. It sits right there. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, that does run separate. That's helpful. Alright, so second verse. The next row is 7 beads again. So we'll do the same pattern. Let's do the same pattern, just makes it easier. White, 5 blue, and then 1 white. So, run to the middle again for the other one, so it comes out of the same bead. 4th bead in. So basically take a break in the middle. It tends to work, seems to work very well, so let's go with that. 5th bead. Okay. Here's that one. Gotta make sure your fin bead from before doesn't get stuck in the wrong spot, because that'll happen too. Alright, so now we have our next row is 2 beads, and we'll do 2 gray beads. And that one so to make that, you just string on 2, pull them all the way down, then you're going to go through this way, and then the rest of the way through. Find the rest of your beads, and then at the end we'll slide everything down so it's nice and snug. Otherwise you have a really floppy shark, and that would be bad. Oh, I missed a bead. Why did I do that? Oh, of course. Make sure your fins sit up. So your shark's not drooping a little bit. There we go. Alright, so that's 2 fins. And the next one is exactly the same. It is the same pattern, the same configuration. I'll do that one more time. A little less talking so you can just watch this time. Alright, so basically the rest of this is mostly just running the beads through in a straight pattern until we get to the feet. Once we get to the feet, I'll come back and we will work on that together. There we go. Again, sometimes it just takes a little bit of fiddling. There we go. Now we have all of our fins, our shark fins up here, lined up. The rest of the shark is going to be straight beads until we get to the tail, so let's go ahead and skip the boring until we get to the tail. We are ready to start on the fins now. We have gotten our body, our fin, our top fins, and we've got our little fishy body here, almost to the tail. So here's how the tail is going to go. It's a bit tricky, but I'm sure we can do it. First row is going to be 5 in a row, because we went to 4, and now we're doing 5, so we'll do some more blue in here. Of course, let me know in the comments if you can think of any other shark trivia that I might not have gotten to, because I love to learn about sharks and animals and all types of creatures and critters, and I would love to know if you can teach me something, because I like that. My favorite thing is when that happens. Okay, so you've got 5 to start. So in each tail, if you count the beads that are in the tail, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 beads. So what we're going to start with is you're going to figure out what color you want your tail to be. I kind of want mine to be blue, so I'm going to put 8 blue beads on one of the strings. Just one, because we're going to do the tried and true second verse, same as the first type dealio. So whatever we do on one side, we got to do on the other. Got to keep it symmetrical. Symmetrical means it's the same on both sides, in case you didn't know. It's one of those, 40-point words in Scrabble, because there's a Y in it. Okay. So, how we start is the bottom one is by itself. So we're going to come up and find the next 2 I'm going to come through, kind of loop through like we did with the fins. What we're doing is we're folding the beads. There's another row of 2, so we find the next 2. And you're just going to basically fold them over so that you can run the cord through the opposite direction. And what this does, I'm going to find 3. Yep. Find 3, come on. Can be a little tricky, but we'll get there. There's 3. So when you look at it, you should have a nice little triangle going on here, and you can of course fiddle around with them, shift them around so they fit better. It's all good. That one's gonna, here we go. Now, this. Here, here. Oh, I went the wrong direction through the 3. There we go. That's what I did wrong. Okay. Sometimes you, and I've done this before, just sometimes you get a little caught up in what you're doing. Okay. There we go. That's better. So now we have it, so we put it up through this middle bead of the 5. What are you doing here? That's not right. I had it strung the wrong way. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's what you do. So that is one fin. And we'll do that again with a little less confusion because this is the first one I did in my practice round. So it's been a minute since I've done it. So it's 5, 6, 7, 8. And it looks a little bit wonky right now, but it'll flatten out as soon as we get it done. It's just a matter of getting everything in the right place. And all the beads on there. Okay, so let me go with the 1, back through, flip it, find the 2 again, mix that one, and then through the 3, and then flip them just like before, and put it through the second bead, or the third bead in the middle. And snug those both down. And there's your shark. See, this tail fins just come together quite quickly. It won't take very long. So to finish off, overhand knot down at the bottom because you'll see they're really close together. Super easy. And then another overhand knot. And then if you like, you can put a dab of tacky glue right there at the bottom to make sure that that knot stays put. Give it about an inch or so, 1.5 inches maybe, of string at the bottom so that there's no, and see there's a little left over, not a whole lot, but a little bit left over of cord. It's always nice to have a little more than you need than not enough. And then we can release him from his prison. Come on. Oh, he doesn't want to go. I know, I don't want to stay. I want to stay. So there we go. We've got our shark. If we turn to the side, you can see his fins, and you can see his little tail, and he's so cute. I hope you enjoy that one if you do it. And don't forget, this tutorial is here time-stamped, so if you need to re-watch it, you are welcome to do so. And next we'll be doing Shell the Turtle. So if that's one you want to do, it's right there. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our Beaded Animal Pals Awesome Ocean Life. Whether you decided to do the shark, the octopus, or the sea turtle, either way, we hope you had a great time, and I hope you had a lovely experience with it. I hope you learned something about the animals this time around as well. And I hope you join us for other programs later on in the summer reading series. We have lots of fun things coming for you between story times, other craft projects. We have lots of things for teens and kids as well. Don't forget to sign up for the summer reading program Beanstack, where you can fill out and tick offs of a virtual game board with various activities that will keep you very occupied all summer long. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.